And in your opinion, John, what role has climate change got to play in changing coastal landscapes?
Well, climate change is something that will drastically change many coastal landscapes because if you think about it, the coast is one of the most dynamic landscapes that we have, where the sort of irresistible force of the sea meets sometimes the sort of immovable force of hard rock. And in that area, maybe if you're thinking of places like the cliffs of Moher, climate change won't change the cliffs very much over time because the rock is so hard it resists any form of erosion very effectively. But where you have soft coastlines, such as we have around us here, then even a slight change in sea level will shift the balance between deposition and erosion very much in favour of erosion. It will accelerate coastal erosion. And also, of course, we now expect storms to become more intense in the years ahead. We don't expect them to become more frequent necessarily, but the ones that do develop we expect to be bigger. There's a great heat source in the warmed up ocean out there, and that has to be released somewhere, and it's released in terms of wave action frequently on a soft coastline. So when you have, first of all, the changes in attack on the coastline, you make the coastline more prone to rapid retreat. And secondly, of course, if you're causing sea level to rise, as we are with the changes in ice cover on land in places like Greenland and the alpine glaciers, then you're enabling those waves to attack from a higher platform, and that higher platform will attack areas that perhaps have been immune before to coastal attack. So if you like, the coast is much more vulnerable as climate changes than it has been in the past, and where that coast is composed of, like around us here, of unconsolidated material, of sand effectively, then it's very rapid in terms of its removal under individual storms. What I think is interesting about the coast is it doesn't retreat gradually. We're not talking about something that, you know, goes back a few feet every year or a few inches every year. It retreats catastrophically under the effects of individual storms. So here in Wexford, if you get a storm from the southeast, this cliff may retreat much more in the course of 2 or 3 days than it would over the course of the rest of the year. So it means that it's a more risky environment in climate change terms. It means that we may have to abandon many parts of our coast which are vulnerable to coastal erosion. Is now a policy that has been adopted widely to counter changes at the coast that we expect to see over the next few decades. So basically, we can't be like King Canute and order the waves to go back. We have to simply accept that the sea will reclaim large parts of our landscape which are exposed and vulnerable, and we have to live with that and simply plan accordingly that our infrastructure, especially our critical infrastructure of roads, of railway lines, of power and energy supplies, are not compromised by the changes at the coast, and not we have to be sensible where we put people and where we put those infrastructural assets, so that they're not damaged in the short term before they give a return on the capital that the taxpayer has invested in them.